Welcome everybody to a Division 1 match between Jordon, Berkley and Anthony Frederikson. We're trialing the new banner here. This is designed by Nathan Blewett. You can see on the left it's got the player name, and it'll feature the total league points. Obviously, as this is the first round of the season, it's going to be 0 points, but we've done away with the chat banner, and it now features the verses. Quite a cool little symbol he's got on the side there. So it's Anthony Frederikson at the top and Jordon Berkley at the bottom. I should have put those names around the other way. Let me just fix that. Okay, now we've got it in the right position. So Anthony looks like he's on this blue-red, what do you call it? It's the blue-red Godfarrow's Gift deck. Jordon's on the traditional blue-white control. Remember, this match occurred before Dominaria was legal in our... So here's the basic thing. Go to the Afterlife, find Godfarrow's Gift, use Combat Celebrant to exert, and keep doing it again and again. It's not infinite, but it basically wins you the match. Because you exert, attack, and get another attack phase, you get another attack phase, you get another trigger from the Godfarrow's Gift, and you can then swing again. You can see here Anthony's built up quite a board presence already. We're just looking at Jordon. Jordon is the one that recorded this, so it's his cards we're going to be seen on the bottom of the screen. You can see here he's frustratingly short of a card. He's frustratingly short of a plains card. So he's going to be able to glimmer to find that, so he can fumigate next turn. I don't believe the blue-red cycling will play counter spells in its main deck. So there's a glimmer into turn. Cannot find the white source that he needs. Aether Meltdown's not a bad card against this deck actually, because you don't want the... He's kept both cards. You don't want the creatures to actually go into the graveyard, because they'll just come back with Godfarrow's Gift, but unfortunately here he doesn't really have any good targets to cast that Meltdown on. I think Warkite Marauder will be right, because he's not going to have a lot of blockers on that the Marauder can target. You can see that the Vizier of Many Faces is in the grave. That's another card that will come in and copy the Combat Celebrants to get another exerted trigger for another attack phase. Let's see if he's interested. And yeah, so he's going to Aether Meltdown this time. Onto the Warkite Marauder. So now he's only going to be taking 1 point of damage each turn. So here's the first key piece, the Gate to the Afterlife. And surprisingly, he lets it resolve, so he can actually opt here and find that white source if he wants to do it main phase. See, when he sacks Gate to the Afterlife, he searches somewhere for the Godfarrow's Gift, and he's allowed to search the grave. So you can see he's got the one in the grave at the moment. Ipnu Rivulet is another card that's going to enable him to put more cards into the grave. Now here's a Ballista. This is interesting. Plays it for 0. So he's going to gain more life here again. So he wanted to get his card into the grave. Okay, so now he can actually do this before combat. He's going to sack the Gate to the Afterlife. I think Jordon might be interested in disallowing that trigger. We'll see if he does. Yeah, so he sacks it. We'll see if he does. Yeah, he's going to disallow the trigger. So nice play there from Jordon. But there's another one. We can see again though, Jordon has 2 cast outs. I think one of those will go to this gate as well. He might be tempted here, I think, to go for a Gearhulk disallow on this gate. This deck plays 4 Gate to the Afterlife, so this would be the second one. He's still got 2 more. But you can just see here at the moment, it's just lacking firepower. So he's going to go for it again. Gearhulk's going to flash back the disallow. So now he's got 2 cards left in hand. One card with that Bant Courier. Bant Courier not exactly the best draw here. He's going to main phase this Glimmer to probably find the 7th land for his approach. He's found it. I think he'd be interested in keeping both of those, yep. Unfortunately, he can't cast a disallow. A bit surprised that there was no attacks there. So Vizier, that's going to copy a Gearhulk. And nothing that Jordon can do about that. So here comes probably approach. No pressure from the other side of the board, so I think he's pretty safe. He's got this game 1 wrapped up. The sideboard, the blue-red, is going to probably bring in a lot more counter spells. You can see Jordon with 19 life, so this is a long slog now for Anthony. He can probably even fumigate and hold up disallow if he wants to. But yeah, I don't think there's much point. You're only putting more targets in the bin for the Godfarer's gift. But on the other side for Anthony here, he needs to find some sort of removal because he's running out of time. Jordon may actually be able to cycle into, I think that's 3, so he can 4, 5, 6. Yeah, if he cycles 3 times of cast out, he can hit approach next turn. Here's a champion that's going to allow. See if this gets a disallow, because it's going to get him to look at 2 other cards. He's going to let it resolve. And he's had enough. Here they come. He's only got 1 card in hand, so the Bant Courier is going to start to exile. Oh, and he eats a Settle the Wreckage. The Settle Wreckage very big against this deck because the creatures don't go to the grave, so they can't be brought back. Well, he can't crack that Field of Ruin, otherwise he's going to he's going to miss his approach. Now, the other thing he's going to want to do here is hold up that disallow to disallow the Ibnu Rivulet, because Anthony's, yeah, so here he goes now. He's going to Ibnu Rivulet to try and mill the approach, and there's the disallow. Oh, but that's timely. Finding another. I don't like that play from Anthony. I think he needed to use the Hypno and cycle again because he's just dead here. I think that's a huge misplay that's going to cost him game one. He needed to crack the Hypno Rivulet and mill again. Because even if Jordon doesn't hit it next turn, he can now use the Field of Ruin to get rid of it. Or disallow. So he's got a number of options. Yeah, so huge misplay, that one. So here's the mill, but this is going to get the disallow. The knuckleheads come in, but this is kind of a desperation swing. I think you'd take the Champion of Wits here. Honestly, I probably would have just taken the 2 and used the cast out to cycle. You can see Anthony's got no cards in hand, so it's a pretty hopeless situation when your opponent with approach has got 19 life. Here's a Vizier to make a second Gear Hulk. Finds a Gear Hulk. I think he can just cycle the cast out and get it right now. Warkite Marauder, well, it's going to make the other Gear Hulk a 0-1 when it swings in, but too little too late. Glimmer's going to find him the approach now. And this one is going to game 2. We might just skip ahead here. So we're on to game 2 here. Jordon Berkley at the bottom of the screen, up a game. Yeah, this blue-red deck looks really good when it works, but it's a bit gimmicky, I think. You can see if it doesn't work properly, if they stop the God Pharaoh's Gift, the 3-mana one, it's really quite a weak deck. So you can see the 7-mana God Pharaoh's Gift in the it's not the Godfarer's Gift you got to stop. It's the other one, the 3-mana one. But you can see the Godfarer's Gift in the graveyard. That's not a problem because you're allowed to search there when you look for it with the other card. Which name escapes me at this stage. I think he's just looking for white here. Yep. Champion of Wits. This is going to get the Essence Scatter because you don't want to give him the card draw. He's not using the Mystery of Inquiries for the beatdowns at the moment. You can see he's got 7 lands. Jordan's got 7 lands in hand, so he's just going to cycle that, finds another land. He might even use this Field of Ruin next turn just to do a bit more filtering. Because you can see he wants to get to 7. He's got 7 already between what's in play and what's in his hand. Here's another Champion of Wits. This one has to resolve. This Champion of Wits is probably one of the most important cards in this deck. So I think you want to you want to counter it, but at the same time, if you counter it, then that enables him to get into the grave to be eternalized. And when you eternalize it, he draws 4 cards rather than 2. So exiling is probably the ideal thing to do here. Search for Skantas. This is going to be a handy card to pick up. He's not really under much pressure at the moment, 17 life. He could even just wait to the end of this turn, fire off a cast out on that Champion of Wits if Anthony doesn't do anything. Ooh. Artifacts you control have hexproof. That's a very interesting card to draw. So that means he's going to have to go. Jordan's going to have to go through that card before he can deal with the Godfarer's Gift if it resolves. He does have the negate. So what's he going to take down here? I'm inclined to get Champion of Wits. He gets Padim, so he's thinking long term. Opt goes to the grave. He is at 13, so the life total's starting to creep down a little bit. Not dangerous territory just yet. Now that's a respect to settle the wreckage. Only 1 creature coming in. He's not going to be able to do that next turn because that's going to get eaten by I think it's Fade Away, the new 2-mana flash card. Will punish players for playing around Settle the Wreckage like that. He's got Approach, and interestingly here he's playing around a counter spell. I think he's going to wait 1 more turn. 2, 4, 6. He wants to wait 1 more turn so he can have negate back up for the approach. I think he could have fired it off there because nobody counters the first approach. The first one will resolve every time. And also here, Anthony's actually 1 mana away from being able to eternalize that Champion of Wits. That's a tempting one to keep. The problem is if he fires off approach, I was going to say that the shields are down, but because he put negate in the grave, he doesn't play the approach. He actually has enough mana up to play approach and keep negate up. So I don't know why he is not casting it at that point. Oh, that's that essence scatter here. Pretty handy. Interesting that he only plays it for one. It's a bit of a tell. I think Anthony is also playing around a counter spell. Now he's going to fire it off. So he does have negate back up, but that one is not the one that gets negated. I think the reason he can fire it off there is because Anthony, if he had a counter spell, he could have gone for it last turn. If he had his Godfarer's Gift, got Gate to the Afterlife, sorry. So here he's gone for it, so that's going to get countered. Oh, and he's been punished big time. Spell Pierce. He has, and he's got the mana up to go for it. So he can actually crack the Gate to the Afterlife now. So this is huge. Jordon's still at a healthy 17 life, so Cast Out can take care of the Godfarer's Gift next turn. But that's a punishing play there. What's he going to get back? Probably a Champion of Wits. Going to restock the hand. No, he's going for it now. Combat Celebrant. Okay, so this is how this works. He's going to exert the Combat Celebrant to get another turn. Another attack phase, sorry. We don't actually have access to his grave because this is pre-recorded, so we can't see what's in there. He does have 19 cards though. So now he exerted it. He's going to get another attack phase. So he gets another Combat Celebrant. This one can attack. When it exerts, it untaps. And basically this is game over from here. Now he'll exert this one, which untaps the other two. Get another attack phase, and he's looped it. So this one's going to game 3. Yeah, and Jordan's seen enough. So game 3 now. I think a slight misplay there. He should have played out the Irrigated Farmland on turn 1. He did know the island was coming. Oh, this is a pretty aggressive line. A Walking Ballista for 1. Geralt goes to the grave. 2 Essence Scatters is going to buy him a lot of time to get to that approach. Trophy Mage. I think you want to counter this, yeah. Otherwise it can search up the Gate to the Afterlife, but you can see here with Jordan's hand, he doesn't actually have a counter spell for the Gate to the Afterlife at this stage. I think he wants to keep Settle. Yep. In come the Knuckleheads for 2. So you can see he takes the Field of Ruin, just interested in hidden land drops at this stage. He might want to fire off the Settle the Wreckage here actually. That would leave him open to a creature, so he can't play Essence Scatter, so he might just wait a turn to try and hit another land drop. That's what he's going to do, go to 14. So he knows that Anthony has counter spells. You could see that Spell Pierce out the sideboard actually won Anthony the game in game 2, so it was huge. So I think we're going to see Jordon probably play around it a lot more this time. Three more, going to drop him to 11, so he's going to get to fire off a Glimmer of Genius here. Oh, Jace's Defeat. You don't see that card too often. Does he 2, 4, 5? If he puts it in the grave, he can flip a Skunter here, but he's going to just take it. And it means that he can flip a Skunter next turn and play Approach. Because you look at Anthony's missing land drops, he's only at 3. He is going to be able to cast Settled Wreckage and hold up Essence Scatter here if he wants to. See if he's going to do that. He is. So Ballista will knock him to 10. Oh, no, he actually shot himself. Nice play. Yep, he'll counter that so that he can't restock the graveyard. You can see though, out of cards for Jordon, so he's going to fire off the Approach next turn. He'll flip this Gunter now so that he can play it. Well, that surprises me. I don't know why he didn't fire it off there. Anthony doesn't have the mana to be able to play out and crack the Gate to the Afterlife. So here's the Gate to the Afterlife. Looking for a counter spell. So this is risky. And he does not find it. He finds an Opt. Opt can find Negate. Can he find... Oh, that's a big one. He finds a Negate. That could be a match-winning search right there. Oh, I think that Negate might force him to just pass the turn again. And he does. He's going to go for it again. It's going to be negated again, so it's the second one. 2 gates left. See, this is what I was mentioning previously. This deck just falls to pieces if it can't resolve that gate. Thematic Compass is going to flip here, so he's up to 2, 4, 6, 8 lands. Well, he's found another one. 2, 4, 6, 8 lands now, so he's just one short of being able to fire off the Approach and keep Negate up, which I think is what he wants to do here. I think I would have used a Skunter main phase to find the land so that I could then Glimmer as well, if need be. In comes Vizier, so he's not interested in putting extra cards in the grave. Anthony's still got 5 cards in hand, so he must have something going on over there. There's a Ballista. Oh, and there's Spell Pierce again. So Spell Pierce stops the card draw, but he does find that land anyway, so now he can play the Approach. So he's got played Approach, 18 life with Negate back up. It's looking a bit hopeless, to be honest. Anthony's side here. A lot of work to do, and this deck just doesn't have the firepower to do the damage required without the Gate to the Afterlife. Oh, and he's topped the second one, so I think this is game. We're going to Modern now. Yeah, Anthony concedes, and it's 2-1 in Standard to Jordon Berkley. So we're looking at his deck now. He's playing that black-red Hollowone. Boom, first card played, you know what he's on straight away. He said that backfired. I think he wanted to play the Flameblade Adept first. Anthony's on Eldrazi, Bant Eldrazi. He's played this for quite a number of seasons. He did mention I interviewed him for a podcast last season, where he's mentioned one of his kind of problems that he wanted to address was that he kept chopping and changing decks. So looks like he's gone back to the traditional one. Wait, why is he playing? I think it's 1 mana for the Flame Blade. Yeah, see, I think he wanted to play Flame Blade and then do he's going to do Goblin Lore here, which is going to put the cards in the graveyard, but it's also going to give triggers to Flame Blade Adept. And he's got a Faithless Looting, so he's going to be able to discard 2 more here. Unfortunately, he couldn't just discard a Bloodghast. So you can see he's got a creature more than 4 power, so the Phoenix can come back, but unfortunately he's tapped out. He can't pay for that. Here's a Path to Exile, so this will actually put the Bloodghast back, I believe. Yeah, here comes the Bloodghast. And because a creature came out of the grave, we're also going to see Prized Amalgam as well. So I think this is a very difficult deck for Anthony's to deal with. He probably needs to hit a Eldrazi Temple here so that he can get a Thought-Knot Seer. But he's got 6 cards in his graveyard. You can see there's a Thought-Knot Seer and a Temple in there, so I think he probably had to discard the cards that he needed. Well, he's going to be able to play Hollowone, so this is looking really bad really fast. I think if he doesn't find a land, he's probably going to concede next turn. He's forced to use a Dismember here to take down the Hollowone, but it's going to drop him to 14. The attack's going to drop him to 9. I think he's got to hit something here. Matter Reshaper, perhaps. Does he find it? A Breeding Pool. Okay, so Matter Reshaper will enable him to get in front of the Prized Amalgam and a trigger. Here's Goblin Lore. Gonna flash back the Faithless Looting. I think, yeah, so Bloodghast comes on, but it's gonna have haste because of the because Anthony's less than 10 life. So he's taken a boatload here. The other thing is that there's a Prized Amalgam in the grave, so it's going to come back as well. It finds a Windswept Heath. I'm just trying to work out. No, he's absolutely, he's 100% dead, because even if he plays a Thought-Knot Seer or a creature, there's too much power on the board. Okay, thanks. Only one of them has to hit. So I think we're going to game 2 here. So, Anthony trying to strike back in game 2. Can he keep himself alive? I'll be done shortly. He's got a Molten Rain. That's definitely come out the sideboard. But this is not a... Oh, he's gone to 3. Can this deck win with 3 cards? A mull to 4. Anthony mulled to 6, but he's got an Eldrazi Temple, which is what he wants to see on turn 1. Okay, here's the play. So Flameblade Adept. This is, I think, what I think he should have done last time. So you can Goblin Law first here. Cycle Street Wraiths. You're going to pump up this Flameblade. So here's a turn 2 5/2. So yeah, Anthony's not mucking around. He'll get rid of that for Dismember. So this is where he mucks. No, sorry, he doesn't muck up. This is where his draw lets him down. You can see he played a Hallowed Fountain tapped, which means he's got nothing to do on turn 4. That's where he needs a Thought Knot Seer or something, but he's got absolutely nothing at the moment. As you're seeing now, Hellspark Elemental is going to get in for 3. He's got a Prized Amalgam coming back. With Anthony down to 13, Jordan's got 5 power on the board. It's a 3-turn clock. 5 cards in hand, but can only pass a turn. He's going to flash back the Faithless Looting. And it's just getting uglier. So I think I think he needs to path to exile the Prized Amalgam. Wait, Jordon just... Yeah, Jordon missed a attack there. He's just saying in chat that he accidentally clicked through. Just looking, what can I flash back? Nothing he can flash back at the moment. He can hardcast this Phoenix. Mose will send everybody in. The Bloodghast cannot block, but he actually played his land for the turn, did he? So 5 power on the board, Anthony down to 8. What has he got? Nothing again. Still 5 cards. I'd love to see his hand. The Eldrazi Displacer and a Mattery Shaper in the previous game are the only cards he's actually played this whole game. So flashes back. Is this just lethal? 3, 4, 5, 6. No, it's 1 point short of lethal. Okay, the Displacer can displace something, probably the Hellspark Elemental. Is he gonna? I don't think he can go. He's gone to 1. You can't go to 1. There's no way out from that. I can't think of anything in the Bant Eldrazi deck that can stop 2 flyers. And that's it, he's going to concede. So we're on to Legacy now. And I'm just going to let this play out because this is a Charbelcher deck and I have no idea how these things work. Jordon on Charbelcher. He's got yeah. This all I know is that this deck has 1 land in the entire deck. Unfortunately, it's okay. So you can see Anthony's also playing Eldrazi in Legacy. I think he's just dead, is he? Yeah, people that appreciate Legacy will know what's going on here. I have no idea what's going on. I'm just pretty sure that Anthony is dead. Yeah, negative 30 life. And yeah, he concedes. So we're on to game 2 of Legacy. Yeah, I've seen this Charbelcher in action a couple of times on SCG, and it's uh, Emma Handy often turns up playing it, and it's very hit and miss. I think if you, especially in a field with a lot of force of will, they just force of will it, and then you got nothing. I think actually you meant to force of will that card that finds the one land that you have. And if I'm Anthony, I don't know if he has more knowledge than I do of this, but I have no idea what I'm meant to sideboard against this deck. I think he's doing his thing again. You can see the storm counts up to 8. Gonna play Chrome Mock, storm count up to 10. I think he's about to empty the Warrens for an absolute ton on turn 1. And this looks like it's going to be game as well. Yeah, I think we're going to see a concession. So Jordan's going to take Legacy.